sometimes. Let's see, moderator. All right, so we should be good. We should be live on stream. We should be on the call. You can see my screen. Hopefully, my computer will behave better this time around than last time, actually. So, folks, I've been trying to put together the rest of the course with some talks and so on. Then I was hit with a little bit of obstacles this weekend, so I couldn't really attend our sessions, both Saturday and Sunday, for which I apologize, of course. But I assume you guys hosted this, Mike and Anya. Could you tell me what was going on over those 2 days?
Yes. So I guess on Saturday we were looking more at the GitHub actions. I mean, specifically because we wanted to check out the pull requests, and we were seeing that there was that little red cross indicating that the tests didn't pass. And guided by Mike, we were trying to figure out like why this was happening. I'm not sure we managed to solve this by now, because we figured it may be a problem in difference of operation system. But then later we decided to move on a bit more to tests, and on Sunday as well to try and start getting into the first test writing with Cypress. And Tassilo was there on Sunday as well to do that.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe I missed something, but that's what I remember.
Tassilo, you want to add anything to this?
Let me finish eating for a second. But
all right.
Yeah, I think the only thing to add is maybe that on Monday, Anya and me, and later also Peter, joined to write a test until the end, and we managed to do that. Only another scenario is missing for the sake of the completeness of this test. But yeah, we were quite happy to have success to that.
Yeah, and actually I'm having a look at the pull request that I did, and again there is it shows failure with Cypress run, but when I run it locally it did work. So yeah, just not sure about that.
Well, that must be the actions somehow that are still not 100% configured, I guess, right? That must be, I mean, what else could it be? If the tests are passing, locally, then we should be able to have continuous integration of all the GitHub actions pass for us. Let me just take a look at this to see what's up. I don't know if you guys are on Twitch. I am trying to stream. It would be good if you guys could give me heads up on if it works or not, because I am experimenting again. You should see my setup now. There are cords all over the templates and computers.
I can see it is streaming, but I've got the sound off. I don't know about that.
Hopefully, no. I don't know if my sound works. Does it? Perhaps. Yeah. Okay. Good.
Then on Saturday, it got a bit mixed up. Mike has this thing where when he runs the test, he gets an error about the React fragment, but only he got it.
Yeah, I saw something about that. That's. I mean, I had that in the beginning, right? So I don't know what's going on.
Regards to GitHub Actions, I've never figured out why sometimes they pass and sometimes they fail.
Right. Right. Okay. So Anja, you have one open here, auth user test. Is that the one?
Yes.
Right. And it all seems to be passing on you. As you say, I trust that it passes on you, but it also passes on Carl. So that should be okay. So apparently it doesn't pass on the send CI, right, on this action, right. And so why doesn't it pass here? What's going on? Let's have a look. Run Cypress. Okay. And let's make this bigger. Process complete, so right. So you have a title feature. Oh, there's only one test here. Oh, how many did you write? Anything else than the one that is already there?
Just the login.specs.js.
Okay, that's the one. And this is failing and this one is failing. Make it have the promise.
If we scroll up, it will probably say that it's failing because of couldn't access the Mapbox token.
Okay.
Wait, is it maybe because like maybe this Mapbox token was only for local host, right? Like the one I posted into the group that may be accessible for localhost 3000. Is it maybe because of that it doesn't work here?
You scrolled past it, Thomas.
Really? Where is it then?
Here about when accessing the application error.
There it is.
Yeah. But now the other workflows that pass, they pass. And they all get the Mapbox token as an environment variable from a secret.
Which ones do pass? I don't understand.
If you open the Actions tab at the top from the repository, maybe
There, okay.
and we'll have a list of all the workflow runs. The green ones pass, and the red ones didn't pass. And most of them didn't pass because of the Mapbox token.
So here's my question. If we take a look at, if we look at these two, what is the difference between they're one commit after each other? One is passing, one is failing, and one is passing. Why is that?
Okay, we basically need to ignore those two update test YAML. Today I tried, so GitHub Actions, they offer you like Docker images that do things for you. And I just tried that out today for Cypress, but it didn't work. And those are the two update test YAML that failed before the green one. So if we go further down, because I reverted to how things were after that. So if we look at these, actually, the only thing that I note that's noticeable is that they seem to pass on the main branch and they seem to fail on the other branches. It looks like
right. There are no ones that are passing on any of the feature branches. Right. Okay. All right. And the question is, of course, why is that? Why is that happening? And I have not much of a clue on why that is. So if we close this, right. Well, one hope that things would calm down a little bit on my computer, but they don't seem to be calming down. I'm still on a very high percentage. Anyway, so what's this? Does anyone have any ideas how we can move forward with this? I mean, and
I have an idea. If you could look at the workflow, I basically said run this workflow on a push to main or a push to pull request. And I just realized that I specifically mentioned the main branch. So I probably have to remove that from the pull request.
But and where is that being set? Is that set in a YAML configuration file somewhere, or do
Yeah, there's a
we?
YAML file in the repo under .github workflow.
There it is. Push, pull request, branches. Well, that's a pull request toward this branch, right? So this looks okay to me, I think.
Well, I also thought so this whole time, but now I'm grasping at straws, I guess. But if I don't mention a specific branch, then it should just run on all pull requests. So it's worth a try.
Okay, so let me just check that. Okay, so GitHub Actions run CI on all PRs. Because the thing is that, you know, every PR is triggering this action, but apparently there is something missing. These environmental variables are not available, because that's why they are failing. You know, these secrets are not available when they are only available when you run it against the main branch. That's the problem, that the way I see it, but I'm not 100% sure. How where did you set those secrets? Where is this being set?
Under the repo, under settings, there's a secrets tab.
Okay. Okay, I'm gonna take this off screen for a second. And would you update this React up map up? So that's it shouldn't be the what you said with this only being available. Oh, this one is empty. This React app Mapbox access token is empty here. There's nothing here.
Well, how come the other tests pass? Let me have a look. I
don't know. Tassilo, could you send that to me privately on Slack? That access token again? Hello.
Yes. Give me a second. Yeah, just empty. It should be
Right. Yep.
for.
Gotcha. So I'm gonna set it off camera so we don't share that.
Yeah, if I go to update now, it's also empty, but I wonder if that's by design.
Perhaps it is. Yeah, it is. Okay, so that wasn't it. Okay. Oh well. Back to square one then. Okay, so actions, delete workflow run. How can we trigger this out? Is there any way we can trigger this directly from here, or do I have to push something to a PR?
I think you have to push something, because if you rerun workflow, I have the impression that it runs the version from that day and not the current version. I'm not sure, but that's the impression I have.
Let's see. Rerun jobs. Here we go. Cypress run. starts the job. Right. Again, I have very limited experience with this particular one. You see, React App access token is empty here.
Yeah, I think it should normally show stars. It shouldn't.
Right, but it's yeah, but so it here installs all of the stuff. Right. Mhm. Okay, and what now? Run Cypress. Come on. It starts for an eternity, so it's not only our computers, it's apparently the same thing on continuous integration. Two found, zero passing, video, zero pass. Why would zero be passing? Now here, this one is failing, and this one is failing. What? What? But what was this? So Scream dialog. So that's the one that I wrote in the beginning, but there are no it blocks in there. But let's have a page title set to the following error originated. Not from I cannot find module. Well, okay. Well, all right. I don't know what that is. Set color by topic, but I did fix that, I think. So that's my own fault. Okay, so that's shit. Okay, that's me. All right. Let me see if I can. So today I'm gonna deliver a short talk today about some soft skills. One talk that I always deliver to my students, but let's see if we can get this show on the road to see if we can fix this test. So last time when we did a little bit of refactoring, I was running into all sort of issues, and I was driving, blind almost. But now hopefully we can get some stuff running here. CD Agile Ventures and and we should be on that open dialog thing, and so we can open this up in our code editor and shut this down. Right. So let's see, I get body replaced with a real test, right? Right, so we never wrote anything here. But git status, Cypress. Right. I don't know if you guys saw that by any chance, but every time Cypress or this application starts, there is a call made to API projects and API Screams front end. So I added these two lines, and if you guys don't know about CI intercept, that is because I haven't shown you that right yet. When I was doing my Cypress introduction a few weeks ago, I did a very basic intro, but nonetheless, this intercept command is very powerful. And what it does is that it tells Cypress not to make any back-end calls, but rather use fixture files to pretend that it has done it. So it prevents the application from from making network calls, and helps us load whatever data we want to load. So I created two fixtures, one that is called projects JSON and another one that is called Scream JSONs. And the projects JSON is basically mimicking this this response that we will be getting from the backend. The problem with the backend calls, and if we talk about performance, Dasilo, that these responses are fairly big. You see the geodata here that you're getting that starts at 11. That's a very, very long response. Is that your meaning? Do you know why that is, by any chance?
Yes. So for the project, like most of the projects have an area in the city where it's happening, and then I want to show users where, like, what area is this project about. And I checked. I had the same feeling, but then I checked with another programmer, and he said, like, it's fine. That's not. It's just a little bit of code. It's not so much of data receiving, so it should be fine. He said.
Okay. Well, that's his prerogative, of course, to have that opinion. I don't necessarily agree with that. The problem is perhaps not. The problem is that the response is fairly big, but you can always argue that it's not that super big. But will this data be used to render some sort of polygon or some?
Exactly.
So what it is? How is it?
Yeah.
Now, how is it shown to the user?
Well, on the side, when you click on the project, then you can see like the area in the map in yellow.
Okay.
So it's like this is a district. So
okay,
coordinates are like pretty precise actually.
Yeah, I can see that. They are very precise. All right. Okay. So anyway, I have that that response, and then we have the screams response, which is basically, I know that you guys set this up on the staging server on Firebase, but in test environment, you don't want to make any calls, not even to the staging server, so you want to stub it out. So I did that in this particular project. Just wanted to say that. Okay, so if we do yarn Cypress, let's see if we can run this today or not. We should be able to run it. Now it's gonna go up here, right? Let's see. Let's see if this guy will follow through. Starts the dev server. And see if it. Right. Let's go. Does it take a long time for you, Carl, to spin up the server and run the tests, or how long does it take on your computer?
I didn't really pay attention how long it takes.
Okay. Anybody else who has long response times, or?
All I can say is it takes very long if I'm on Slack and all that.
Okay. All right. Let's see if we can run the title feature and see if that passes. Of course, it opened up on another screen. So let's move this over here. Right. So here we are, and we are okay on that one. So is the cookie that we are setting, Tassilo, you told me about setting this cookie. Is that cookie about bypassing this screen, or?
Yes.
Okay. So we can just switch back to, this guy, stop this, and run this and see what's up. Right. Come on. Are you or are you not? There you go. Come on. There we go. So we set the cookie. We visit this. Preloads. Right. So we are bypassing this. Okay, good. All right. So as you can see, the data that we are getting is coming from my fixture. I can change that to this is in the fixture, right? And now if I reload this, we should see that project come up. No? This is a test, it says. Well, thank you very much. This is the test, this is a test, this is, okay, this is the, okay, this is the fixture. I wasn't really sure what was being shown. Right, you see, I am changing that stream. So we are never making the call to the external API in the test environment. That is important because tests should not be making those calls at all. What is worrying me? Why do I hear echo? I don't know. But what is worrying me is that we are, for some reason, getting 2 calls in the beginning that are being cancelled, and then we are making 2 stubbed requests. 2 streams, front end and projects, and 2 others that are actually stubbed for some reason. But I am not really clear on why that is happening, why these are going red in any way. But so in terms of the test, everything is actually working. We are stubbing up everything, so those secrets are simply not configured properly one way or another. I don't know why, but there's something wrong with those GitHub actions, unfortunately. I can't really see why this is happening. Right. Okay, has anybody else tried to, so Anya, you wrote this login feature, right? But other than that, we haven't been writing so many tests yet, have we?
No, we haven't.
Okay. Right. Well, I don't know how to move forward with this at this point, because I have no real knowledge about those GitHub actions, and if the way I look at it, there must be something wrong with the these with this, how we get secrets. Now, can I ask, why are these wrapped into curlies, Carl?
So special YAML syntax that's used for secrets.
Okay.
So the environment variables, I don't know if it would make a difference. One could also move them up to the workflow level. I'm learning a lot while I go along. So originally I had the environment variables in the step. Then I watched a tutorial where the lecturer said that if you use the YAML syntax, which you need to use for the secrets, that doesn't actually work in the steps. So then I moved it up to the job level.
Mm-hmm.
But even before, when it was in the steps level, sometimes some tests that would pass and some would fail. So on the job level,
but they never passed on the feature branches, did they?
well, I only noticed that recently, and you know, like at the beginning, I didn't really pay attention to that.
Right. Did you just update something here?
Yes, I just updated it.
Right.
Because after we talked, I figured this really might be it. That because before it was only for the main branch on pull requests, so I thought it's worth a try.
Okay. Let's see if we can trigger something then. Let's see if we can trigger something.
And what I wanted to say, so now the environment variables is on the jobs level, meaning that all the steps and commands have access to it, but I could even move it up to the workflow level, meaning that everything in that workflow has access to the environment variable.
Right. Let's hold off. Let's do one thing at a time. But yeah, that's not a bad idea. Of course, it's not.
Yeah, I was just mentioning it.
Yeah. Right. Should contain text. Oh, fuck, come on, give me a fucking break.
Also reading about it now, and I changed it. You could say branches with 1 star for all branches, but apparently if the branch name has a slash, it won't work. Then you have to use 2 stars. So lots of little finicky things to learn along the way.
Right. 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 So we just read. Yeah. Is expected to show stream title, whatever. Let's try that. Should contain text. This is the fixture. Okay. So is this passing for me? Let's see. Is there really? This is the fixture, right? Okay. So that one passed. Okay. So we can stop this, and now we can just push this up to. GCIAM.
Can you guys hear me?
Now we can.
Yeah. Okay, I was having problems with my sound. Sorry.
You want to say something?
No, I just was afraid you would ask something, and then I would be like, "Sorry, I can't say anything."
Okay,
yeah.
I guess.
But
All
it's
right.
fine. Sorry.
All right, no problems.
Well, that happened earlier already. So thanks for letting us know that you're back.
We did ask you something a while back. CI action. No, there you go. Right. Okay. So git push origin open the dialog from Redux. All right, let's see if this one is being triggered. Right. queued. On pull request. Custom Cypress run. That's the job. Custom Cypress run.
Yeah, I named it that.
Yeah, it is still empty here. The map box here, but I don't know if it should or if it shouldn't.
So what you do earlier, you updated it and then you clicked update again to see if you could see something.
How do you?
What you did off screen.
Yeah, I updated the. Yeah. I updated it twice. So first I updated it because I was worried that it was empty, but then when I updated it again, it was still empty. So perhaps it's a security thingy or whatever. I don't know.
I'd have to look at the older one to be sure if it shows stars or if maybe it actually does just show empty. Don't know. I'll look at the old one in the meantime.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Now it's gonna run. Come on. Come on. No? Oh, there we go. There are the dependencies that are still problematic. There's still a lot of warnings here, but here, before all hook for is to show screen title. But what? Yeah, it doesn't get the access, the map. This is the problem. He doesn't get the thing. Until we pass this, this will never work for us. This is the problem. The fuck is going on? And also it's running headless in. I don't know.
Or what if else we just expose the Mapbox token? I saw a lot of code sandboxes with access tokens of Mapbox 2 where they didn't. Maybe that's like for the sake of the
Yeah.
easiness.
Well, you know, it's it is what it is. Let me pull down the latest code. We can, I mean, if you're okay with that, we can try it, and then you can regenerate a new one, perhaps.
Yeah, or maybe I just generate a new one and then we can.
Yeah, yeah. If you do that, you can. Yeah, we can try that. We have an onboard and a README in the test YAML, right? Right. Secrets, right? And while Tesla is doing that, I can just say GitHub Actions.
I just sent you the new one.
Okay. Okay. So let's just set that in plain sight for now. Right. Right. Let's see. Git CI AM updates action. I config. with access in plain. Right. Okay. So now we'll see if we get a different output. It's going to be
Sorry.
interesting.
I wasn't watching when you did it. So if you're not using, I just mentioning, if you're not using the secret, you don't have to use the YAML notation. You can use like the Ubuntu notation for the environment variable. Just mentioning it.
Yeah. But it's, I mean, yeah, good. All right. But now, I mean, it should work with this notation, right? This shouldn't be a problem.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I wasn't watching when you did earlier. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think it
okay.
should be fine.
Yeah. Right. 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 Let's see. Mm. But now this setting is changed on my feature branch only, and we should keep it that way for the moment. Sorry, I cut you off. You were saying.
I was just wondering, like, I can restrict the Mapbox access token to come from a certain URL, also like localhost. Do you like? I wonder which one it would be like for here for GitHub Actions. Is there a possible?
Now we have it here. Look, I have no clue. I have no clue. Well, I think this one spins up localhost 3000 as well. Do you see that? So this one is also spinning up. But now we have the Mapbox access token. That's so the way we set those secrets called that, I think that is the problem, or at least how we reference them from within the YAML file. I can't really see any other explanation because it was totally empty before. Do you understand? But we'll see. We shouldn't jump. We shouldn't shout hop in a, I don't know how do you say that in English. Is Castras here today? No, I miss him because he can speak Scandinavian. So Anja, have you learned Swedish or Norwegian yet?
No. I wish.
It's been 2 weeks already.
I know. I'll catch up one day.
I know you will. It's going to be easy for you. So everything is passing now.
Yay.
Yeah. The title feature should also in principle pass, right? Yeah. So the problem was the way we set this access token, right? And now it is working. So once we have merged my PR, then this will be this will work probably. All right, so we have a solution to that. That's not bad for a day's work, or for what is it now, 40 minutes or something. So we can be happy about that, can't we, people?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yay. Oh, wow, the enthusiasm is striking. Good stuff. Right. Okay, so let's see if we can is it okay if I just switch over to the talk? I have a few slides prepared for you. Is that cool with you guys?
Yes.
Sounds great. Yes.
All right, so let's see if I can find them. Right. All right. Well, okay, now I just lost them, but I will find them. Talking. There it is. Well, not really. We're going to close this, and we're going to close this, and we're going to go this, and okay, right. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about something that we call software craftsmanship. And if you've been paying attention, you know that I run a company that is called Craft Academy. I think you didn't miss that one, at least, right? And so where does the word Craft Academy come from? It actually comes from this idea that we will be talking about today, and this concept or this philosophy or whatever you want to call it, that is referred to as software craftsmanship. So this is my slide deck, and the subtitle is Raising the Bar. Let's see if we can get any smarter by exploring this topic. So I've spoken to, we spoke about this agile software, manifesto for agile software development a while back. And back then I was a bit unsure on when all of this took place, but I've done my research, and apparently on February 11th to 13th, back in 2001, which is a long time ago, 20 years ago, there was a bunch of guys that got together at a ski resort in Utah, actually in United States. There were 17 of them, and they came up with this Agile Manifesto. We covered this in another talk, and I spoke highly about those principles, about individuals and interactions over processes and tools. I think that working software is more important than comprehensive documentation, that customer collaboration is more important than just contracts and everything that is written down on paper. But most importantly, responding to change is more valuable in software development, and I would argue in life in general, than following a plan that is strictly set and you can't deviate from it. However, these gentlemen, they were smart enough to say that where there is value on the items on the right, we value the items of the left more. And I often come back to that the main metric in everything we do is working software. And if we talk about that in the context of our project or the project that we are dealing with, it works for most part, at least, right? So that is the most important thing. And referring back to what we discussed in the last meet last week, when I sensed that when I was reading a lot of this code, there was a lot of things I could ask about and say, why did you do this, or Tesla, or and perhaps some of you perceive this as criticism, but I already explained it last time that it's not Tesla as a person. Perhaps some choices that were being made during the development process that can be argued about, but then again, you can argue about everything in life. The project is fantastic because it's you've done a hell of a lot of work, and you did some fantastic coding, and it's a great idea, and it solves a problem, and that is the most important metric you can have. However, there are other metrics, and I'm not saying that we should only be happy about having our code to do its job. There are other metrics, but despite what I will be talking about today, this is the simple source of truth that the main metric is working software. That is definitely the primary measurement of progress. But we can look at other things, and we want to talk about that today. So quite often when we code, you just want to get things done. And quite often in software development projects, you are under a lot of pressure to get things done as quickly as possible because you have a project manager standing over your shoulder, or you think you have one, or you have your colleagues that are pressing for a feature because they want to build something on top of that, and so on and so forth, right? So the question we always need to ask ourselves, can we settle, or should we settle for mediocre solutions? Should we just get things done, or and move on, and leave the fix up for somebody else or for ourselves later on, when we think that we will have more time? Now the software, the manifesto for agile software development was written in 2001. In the same year, there was a book published that was called Software Craftsmanship, from a guy called Pete McBreen. And that one suggested that software developers need not see themselves as part of the overall, traditional engineering, and that we could do other things, and because our work differs a lot from, people who build bridges or things like that are also engineers. So that is a little bit of the origin of where this idea has come from. Now, I think in 2008 or 2009, a few other developers got together, and there was this idea to add another value, a fifth value, to the Agile Manifesto that said craftsmanship over crap, but it was never adopted to the Agile Manifesto. So they came up with a softer version of this soft craftsmanship over crap, and bundled it into a manifesto on their own that connected back to the Agile Manifesto, the original one. And what they wrote down is that, among these principles, these 4 principles, they should be clarified a little bit. So whereas the Agile Manifesto speaks about working software, they also wanted to include well-crafted software, but they didn't stop with that. Responding to change, that I spoke about just a minute ago, is important, but sometimes you also have to drive change. Not only should you wait for the world around you to change and then adopt to it, you can be the change. You can be the disruptor by steadily adding value with new ideas, new insights, new ways of doing things. And whereas the Agile Manifesto speaks about individuals and the interactions between those individuals, the people that formulated the Software Craftsmanship Manifesto, or way of thinking, were also talking about communities of professionals, which is in a way touched upon in the Agile Manifesto already, because they do speak about that the best value derives from people or groups of people that are committed to the same goals and same values, but they want to raise this to a different and higher level. And in terms of customer collaboration over contracts, yes, of course, but they spoke about taking this to another level as well, and form productive partnerships that spans not only through the life cycle of a project, but perhaps over longer periods of time, and where both sides can benefit from this. I will be talking more about these principles in just a while. But if we talk about these ideas on a higher level, they extend the challenges of the Agile Manifesto, and true to the idea that software developers don't necessarily have to be always compared to traditional engineers. They try to do something more fun with it, or I don't know, something more practical. So they started to use metaphors between the things that we do in the modern software development realm and the apprenticeship of the medieval guilds of Europe, with an entered apprentice, the fellow craft, and the master. This three level hierarchy that was used in Europe for various guilds. But most importantly, we talk about that we need to emphasize the coding skills of software developers themselves, right? It's not only about getting things done quick and dirty, as soon as possible, just because somebody set an arbitrary deadline for us, or if we did it ourselves. We want to produce nice and good and readable, easily maintainable code, pretty much in line with the best practices of the extreme programming, XP philosophy. And the big deal for this, for people who are talking about software craftsmanship and keep talking about it, is about bringing responsibility, professionalism, pragmatism, and pride back into software development. And if you, as I, like to read a lot of legacy code or code altogether, as soon as I get my hands on some source code, I tend to read through it. I find it enjoyable to read well-crafted code rather than code that is just hastily put together, which is basically all PHP I ever read, I would say. I may come across that I'm not a very great fan of PHP. So what do we value? Well-crafted software, steadily adding value, a community of professionals, and productive partnerships, of course, just to recap. Now, in order to achieve all that, we have to acknowledge that mastering the art of software is not easy in any way, but there are things that we can do something, in order to improve. But just to quote Winston Churchill, who famously said once that I never worry about action, only inaction. The same thing should apply to ourselves. We need to practice at all times. We need to see every challenge, every feature that we work on as an opportunity to become a little better. If we keep on doing the same thing that we've always done, then you will stand still. You will not evolve in any way. So we need to practice one way or another. And for that, we need to code. I've said this before, and I will say it again if you ask me, even if you don't ask me. Coding is like swimming. You can't really read about it, watch it, somebody else do it, hear about it, or what have you. You need to get into your bathing suit, your trunks, and you have to jump into the pool, and you need to have a plan. Swim a few laps, start with something, clock you, or have somebody clock you, and keep on practicing. Because if you want to get fast in swimming, you need to swim. And the same applies to coding. If you want to become good at coding, you have to code, and you have to code in a different way today than you did yesterday, because you need to constantly challenge yourself in order to become better. Experience is the only teacher. I know we've covered this at some point in the beginning of this training program, but I think it's worth repeating over and over again. The only way you can get good at setting up GitHub Actions is to do just as Carl does, just banging his head against the wall, reading stuff about it, trying and experimenting, erroring out, getting frustrated, and at the end, it will become better and better, right? Sometimes you have to look for a needle in a haystack, read through the logs as we did today, and just to figure out that at some point there is a key, an access key missing, and then you have to dare to experiment, like Tassilo did. Ask me, hey, why don't we just add it in plain sight, and just to test it. We did. It worked collaboratively. We solved it. Carl, you laid down the foundation. We came in and we just pushed that thing over the edge. And next time we will know that apparently that this $sign with 2 brackets and a reference to a secret perhaps works, perhaps it doesn't. Perhaps we need to do more research and try other things and so on. But at the end, we just got a little smarter, we got a little more experience, and we will probably do better next time, because experience is the only teacher. And in order to gain more experience, what I always say to my students is, again, practice, practice, practice. And I will start from the bottom of this slide. I would say, if we compare learning to code with as I often do, with swimming, or as the people that came up with these ideas about software craftsmanship compared it to martial arts, I would say, game on. You have to just step in the ring and go a few rounds with somebody, or jump into the pool, or whatever metaphor you want to do. Always be coding. Project work is the best way to learn and what will help you grow over time. That goes without saying. But there are other ways to practice, of course. Now, 3 ideas that they put forward when they talk about how you can practice and how you can become better is Code Retreat, Coding Dojo, and Coding Katas. Whereas Code Retreat and Coding Dojo is basically group exercises that you do together with other people, and Coding Katas is something that you can do for yourself or perhaps with your pairing partner. I would say that the best way to learn is always together with others. So doing things as group exercises is the best way to do it. Now, Code Retreat is basically a kind of hackathon. You combine the elements of Coding Dojo, which is where you pick out a topic that you want to know more about, or that your team is not very proficient in and you want to learn about it together. And you turn that into a full day of practice, or even a weekend full of practice. The dojo spans over a few hours, which is basically a mob session where you throw out a topic and everybody is involved. It's a little bit of a brainstorming session, coding session, try and error session, and documenting, right? So whatever you find out, what works or what doesn't work, should be in some way spread across the members, or to people who cannot participate by documentation. Coding katas is very great. You just challenge each other or yourself with some problems, and there are great online resources for that. HackerRank being one of them, and Code Wars another. So that is definitely something, or those URLs is definitely something you guys should check out. You can sign up for these; they are free. Code Wars is a little more gamified than HackerRank. You can, do stuff together or on your own, and climb a ladder of proficiency to greatness, I assume. I don't know, but people are telling me that it's great fun. Now, in terms of this always be coding, I know that I spoke about this before, but pair programming is important. Never code alone. It is much more fun to share your knowledge, or share your successes, but also share your tribulations and your setbacks with other people. Having a passion project is always a good thing. I have a few that I get back to and code on from time to time. Attending hackathons, which are, there are hackathons and hackathons, right? The hackathons I would like you guys to attend online or in person are the ones where people actually code and not just talk about coding, which is like the majority of hackathons, I would say. But wherever people are writing code, just tap into that and talk to them. How are they fixing problems and so on, and you can always learn something from doing that. Coaching others, the things that we do here in this Work the Web program is a foundation for what I envision is the future of Agile Ventures, where people can help other people to learn in small or in big, on katas or mob sessions, coding dojos, or in projects and building some great stuff together. I would say blogging and streaming is a fantastic way to share your learning with others and inspire others. And I would definitely say that our friend Anya here is a great example of being a great inspiration to other people, at the same time learning and growing as an individual or as a developer. Getting involved in open source software is always good. You get free code base to dive into and learn about without having to sign any binding non-disclosure agreements. That's great. And basically just get involved in the community and share your knowledge. This is who you are. If you want to be a professional developer, then keep on doing that. I am very fortunate because I have programming as a hobby. You don't have to have it as a hobby. You don't have to turn yourself into a great nerd in any way. This is a stereotype, and it's simply not true. That, you know, if anybody tells you that you have to code, 24 hours a day for forever, that is not what always be coding means. But what I mean when I say this is that as when you spend time on your career, on your professional development, then you should be as close to writing code as possible. Where I always put writing code on top, reading code on the second place, right? Or watching somebody else, or being involved in features being developed as a third place. But then when you go home, you have to forget about this and do other things. But if you want to, when you are focused on your professional development, then you should be coding as much as possible. And so I want to go back to those principles of software craftsmanship manifesto, and I added this slide saying that we hold these truths to be self-evident, because they should become your second nature, or our second nature. So in order to be able to achieve our goals, whatever they are, we are all our own masters, and we all pursue the hunt for our happiness in the way we want to pursue it. Nobody can tell us what will make us happy, but whatever our goals are, hopefully they're fairly in sync in terms of professional development. We say that we, the organizers and members of Agile Ventures, are committed to the following principles, and that is that quality is our main focus. We want to get things done, we want to deliver on time, but we do not settle for mediocre solutions. We want to produce the best code and the best features we possibly can. And if we return to this well-crafted software, there are a lot of practical things we can do. We humbly demonstrate our expertise by delivering quality software the best we can today. Hopefully tomorrow will be just a little bit better, and a little bit better the day after, and next week and next month, next year, we will have evolved as professionals, and our software solutions will be better than they were this day of August 2021. But whatever we can do today, we do to the best of our ability. But also, we do not inflate our abilities or claim expertise where we have none. Also very important. We continually master a variety of technologies and techniques of programming, building software, whether it's capture requirements, whether it's a new programming language, or extensions to the languages we already know through libraries or new releases or what have you, to DevOps, to what have you. Software development is very, very complex. But we do not let unfamiliarity dissuade us from using the best tools. If there's something that we know that will make our flow better, we do spend time to learn it, to master it, or at least get included in our workflow. We take responsibility for the correctness of our code by testing it thoroughly. You guys know that I'm a great fan of automated testing for various reasons. Definitely to own the responsibility, to own the solution thoroughly. And we don't settle for anything. We do not tolerate preventable defects. I've met a lot of developers who said, yeah, I know I should have, but I didn't have the whatever time, effort, or focus, or what have you, and so I cut a few corners, and now somebody else is paying for those mistakes. So if the speed of development is in your focus, then think of it like, if I do things properly and slowly today, I can be really, really fast someday, tomorrow, or next week, or next month. But there are a few hoops that you just can't jump over in the beginning. You need to take it slower and really understand everything you do, and do not tolerate things just because you don't take the time to dive deeper into them. About studying adding value. We estimate with diligence. We do not let fear or pressure makes us promise what we can't deliver. Really important from a professional perspective, of course. We always apply our best efforts to complete our work, and we do not make excuses. We work at a sustainable pace. Again, back to the things that I've already said. You need to, do your best when you do your best. When it's time for that, then you just have to shut off and go home. Spend time with your kids, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your partner, what have you, because we don't want you to burn out. Neither here at Craft Academy, or at Agile Ventures, or in your professional life, because we don't want to lose you as our friends, right? And you don't want to do that either, because when you burn out, you will come to a complete stop. There will be nothing left for you to do for a good while before you manage to come back. So sustainable pace is really important. Community of professionals. Finally, we embrace differences, among people, and differences of opinion. Really important. We do not allow our current practice to impede improvement. Just because we've been doing something, you don't want to, stop yourself from being skeptic or question the best practices. Sometimes, in Swedish we have this saying, I think it's fairly international, you shouldn't give up a winning team, but sometimes you should give up a winning team, because it can lead to an even better solution. Of course, there's a balance to be maintained, and you don't want to experiment too much on the night, or on the eve of the deadline, perhaps. But yeah, I guess you understand what I mean. We prefer open source tools that we can inspect, evaluate, and improve. That goes without saying. Everything I work on is open source nowadays. It hasn't been the case over the years, but I very much prefer open source in front of proprietary tools or software, because they lack transparency. So we try to avoid them. We teach anyone with a willingness to learn. And that is definitely one of the core principles of Agile Ventures. And I would like that to become yours. If I can, dictate anything, which I can't, of course, because you are your own masters. But if there's anything I can inspire you to, is to just grab anybody, your friend or somebody in the community that shows a willingness to learn, and within the boundaries of your time that is available to you, and so on, just go on and coach others. That's the best. That's a fantastically good way to learn and to evolve yourself. And it's also great karma, because we try not to hoard our knowledge or practices. We try to share them, because by sharing, you can improve upon them and make them even better. So there are a few sources. Of course, those URLs to the coding katas, the link to the manifesto for software craftsmanship, of course, the Agile manifesto, and then there is this great book called The Software Craftsman: Professionalism, Pragmatism, Pride by Sandro Mancuso. That is a great read. Right. So that's what I had in store for you. I hope I could inspire you to embrace the software craftsmanship ideas, or to learn more about that moving forward. That's it. Thank you very much for listening in. Any thoughts or comments? Carl, what do you say?
I like it. What am I gonna say? I was actually reading on software craftsmanship, but I don't remember which book. Oh. And then there's some things, I mean, this would open a lot of discussion, but I think we don't have time, because there's a few points along the way, where I would have stuff to say.
Sure, shoot.
Well,
choose one and shoot.
I didn't memorize them. Okay, let's just, well, okay, so the one with the time and estimating thing, I'll just say it's actually really hard to estimate. That was towards the end somewhere.
There we go.
Yeah, it's actually really hard to estimate your work. And then there was something like, don't make promises we can't deliver.
Mhm.
But it's actually really hard to make promises or to just estimate how long work takes.
Absolutely. That is a discussion in itself. You're right on target. You know, we can go on forever talking about that. I would say that what these 2 points are referring to is just don't be an asshole, don't be a schmuck. You know, this, yeah, sure, I fixed that attitude. See, I'm a pretty cocky guy, you know, and I know that given time, I can solve a lot of problems, but I know also that there are things that are just will never have time or effort or energy and so on to solve. Basically, if somebody, let me say this, if somebody asks me, hey, can you do a Java project, I will probably very politely turn them down, even if I needed the money, because I am not very great at Java, you know. So I wouldn't promise anybody that I can do that. If they would ask me to implement an authentication solution using, you know, Swedish bank ID, I can say, yeah, sure. I only done it 2 or 3 times in my life, but I would not feel that I overpromise. But the balance is very hard to maintain. I don't know if that makes sense, Carl, but great point, though. Tassilo, what would you say about this?
Yeah, thank you first of all for the presentation. It was really nice to hear about all of this, and I'm really happy about this attitude in this branch. And is it called branch? This, like, I always felt that in programming, people are really helpful, like willing to help, and like I think when you said in one slide, show people like don't like teach where people are willing to learn. I always had the feeling that like all programmers that I got to know, that they really see this, like they really live out this line. And yeah,
Cool.
it's amazing.
Awesome. All right, Carmen, what would you say about this?
I had so many things to say, which is hard. I want to say that I love it. I love the presentation. It makes me feel really good as a developer. Just hearing what you're saying and all those topics and points that you made. I'm all about quality and testing. And you know, I came from a Rails background, so this is all new to me as well. That what are we doing with Cypress, stuff like that. So it really hit me, this presentation. I do have a question, and I know we don't have time, but maybe we can chat
Sure.
about that in another time. But it's like, how do you share this passion or try to implement this in early startup? Because startup don't want to actually do this kind of stuff, even though I think at the long term, it's beneficial in terms of saving time and money, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you have like a quality software and well-tested software.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is like, how do you, as a developer, how do we try to share this passion? Maybe we should do this because, you know, quality is important. More also quantity is, but you know, I believe that quality sometimes is more.
So that's a fantastic comment, Carmen. First of all, thank you very much for your kind words. But like, it is extremely hard to implement this with people that don't understand this. Do you understand? Like, so my answer, the short answer to your question, how do you implement it in a startup? Start your own startup. Basically, you know, you should be in charge. You should be the one driving this process, because then you can, you know, you set the direction. You just say that this is how we work. But then the hardest thing, even if you are the one calling the shots, is to remember this always. Like, for instance, those XP principles, you know, testing, refactoring, pair programming, and all of that stuff. Because at some point, the reality kicks in, and you go like, oh, we're low on funds, or we have a deadline, we have this or that, and then you just cut some corners. And once you stop doing this, you know, stop following certain best practices, it is very, very hard to get back to them, because you accumulate so much technical debt, and also you know, develop some bad practices or bad habits. Now, I would say that having this constant reminder that it is much easier to take it slower and build things properly than go on a bug hunt later on, you know, especially when you've hit production and the shit hits the fan, and you know, the entire dev team is paralyzed because some bug reports are coming in, and preventable stuff are hitting your production code. You know, I've been working with corporate clients, and I've been working with startups. It is actually easier to convince smaller teams and you know, startup teams, lean or agile thinking people to follow these best practices than it is to convince corporate folks to do that, for many reasons. This way of thinking is better suited for startups. But generally speaking, what kills most projects is complexity, is large scale. And I think we kind of discussed this when I had my agile talk, that you know, agile doesn't scale well. No, it doesn't. There is no project management you know, protocol or philosophy or set of rules or what have you that scales particularly well, and agile isn't an exception. And the answer to that is keep it simple, keep it small, keep the dev team to 7-8 people, and if it becomes 20 people, then split it into 2 or 3 teams and have them work closely together, and so on, right? So there are a few hacks that you can take with you. But yeah, this is a big topic. I can talk for, and we could definitely discuss this at some point, because it is really important. But having people on board with these values, and that's why we talk about them as values. You know, paraphrasing on the Declaration of Independence, I think, you know, we hold these truths to be self-evident. You know, having as many people or as many members of your team believing in this and practicing this is the key to success, I believe. Does that make sense, Carmen?
Totally makes sense. Yeah. I'm like I said, I've been through struggling with that, honestly, but my passion for agile was what drives me, or basically that's how I started my career. And you know, I came from a third world country and I moved here to the United States. People thought I was crazy back then, and you know, but I've been struggling because sometimes it's really hard to find, you know, a startup or even non-profit organization that actually wanted to do that, because they just want to have the product ready to go, and you know, the whole MVP theme.
Yeah.
So,
but in the long run, they're drawing the short straw here, you know. And but finding, so it's all about surrounding yourself with the right people. Welcome to Agile Ventures, first of all, right?
yeah,
so you're in good
so
company
many
here.
years, finally.
Yeah, you're in good
Thank
company.
you so much.
Right. All right, Anya, your thoughts about this?
Well, I thought it was very motivating, especially for me, the idea of trying to always get more practice and doing it with others, with pair programming or hackathons. The hackathons are definitely events that I've actually thought a lot about participating in. But I do see the value in that. And on Monday, for example, with Tassilo, when we were trying to do this simple test, at first it really a little bit looked like we were not gonna make it. And yeah, and then I guess putting both our efforts into it and questioning things, and we finally managed to do it, and it was very, very great feeling to be, let's say, two junior devs, if we can call ourselves like that, that managed to get somewhere just together. Yeah. And yeah, and I guess for hackathons, I've been even thinking about doing it a little bit in the frame of my stream, because I feel like there's a cool community around, and maybe for a weekend or so, that could be a cool idea, focusing on specific stuff.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, you've had people join in on audio with you, helping you out. I guess, you know, they can share their screen sometimes. You can, you know, do stuff, and you know, technology is there, definitely there. It's all about coordinating, and as we said when we were talking with Carmen now, right? It's like, it's about surrounding yourself with good people, and your community, because of you, as you have attracted a lot of pretty cool folks to as your followers. So that's a fantastic ground to build upon. Absolutely. Cool. Well, guys, I'm glad that I could inspire you. I think I didn't miss anyone. I think we lost Chima along the way, right? We did. I think that, you know, having something to fall back on, to have a set of values that you kind of can constantly remind yourself about. I'm very fortunate because I get to talk about these things at least once a quarter, to keep this alive for myself. But also sharing this with others and having these discussions over time is important. And you know, basically it's just common sense. Let's not cut corners. Let's just go aim for the best, and then do whatever we can to become better at everything we do. But then again, when the clock is whatever it is, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, or whenever our day ends, shut down the laptop and do some other more important stuff in life than just being a professional. There are other things in life that deserve our attention, where we can also apply some of these ideas on to live richer and fuller lives. However, in order to do that, we have to hang up these skulls and turn off the stream, so we can actually get some beauty sleep and do other stuff. So I want to thank you for today. Thank you for listening in, and I will see you on Thursday unless anything happens. Right?
Yes.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. Be cool, stay safe, and keep on coding. All right?
Thank you.
Bye.
So
Thanks.
long, so long.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye.
So long. And also Twitch, thank you very much. This was one of the sessions that we run for Work the Web. And if you want to know more about our community, don't hesitate to visit agileventures.org and figure out how you can move beyond tutorials and get on cracking with coding with other folks and build stuff together. Thank you very much. Be safe.